This is an overview of what you need to make a book great. If you're going to make it mean something, you should go overboard and use those strengths to your advantage and use those tools. I know I might not have covered everything in this book. This is an overall how-to, and some things you will find in other books. Here is a word of advice. This is your baby. If you nurture it and make it grow, it will grow. You may find you have done this for a while, and then this time round you may get it done. You may have personal problems in your life, and it might attack you in every direction. With this, you might go through a breakup or a divorce. You may go through family problems. You may go through hell and back. But keep going through your pain. Finish that book or keep on writing your books. Eventually, your hard work will pay off. You could have a hell of a year with writing. But in writing, it is being able to come out with stuff. You could outsource.
That was Kindle Your Writing, how to make your Amazon Kindle book great. Written by Joseph Evaldi. It is available on paperback, Audible, and iTunes. Continuing on with part 1 to the changing my format video, and I was going to discuss about Hogan and what made him great in the 80s. Back in the time in the 80s, Hogan was built up to be a superhero, like a Superman. He fought on all comers and he took them on. The fact is, had he not had the supporting cast to back him up to make him look great, he would have not succeeded. First, he had Rowdy Roddy Piper. First, he beat the Iron Sheik, then he had Rowdy Roddy Piper. Made him look great. Then, in between, with Orndorff, then he had King Kong Bundy. Made him look even bigger. Then Andre the Giant just put him overboard. Then he's facing the likes of DiBiase, which was a loss for him, but he gained with the mega powers. And then carried on. Hogan might have not been the greatest wrestler in the ring, but he knew what to do to make those few moves count, and he knew how to look like he could oversell or sell, which he did sell at times. And someone who proclaims his performance wasn't that good or whatever should see some of the match that he put on with The Rock when he was older in his career. He adapted his style and he worked. Now, they may say that Hogan was whatever, but Hogan wasn't that bad. Hogan was the man. Maybe not a better wrestler than Flair, but he was over. And he knew how to feed and react off the crowd. He had that charisma. And charisma in wrestling and drawing are everything. And the thing is, the villains make him good too. It's the reason why someone like Piper stayed on top of it as long as he did too, or someone like Macho Man stayed on top. They were in the picture. Sure, Piper never held the belt, but it didn't matter. He was a wrestler that didn't need that championship belt. That's what made him great. And he was even the Intercontinental Championship, where he fought a very good match against Bret Hart at WrestleMania. Now, Hogan was inspirational at the time with the eat your vitamins, say your prayers, or take your vitamins, say your prayers. It worked. Because, at the time, people wanted to be fit. People wanted to be in shape. It worked. And then he became Hollywood. Did the unthinkable. But you know what? This is what I say. For a character to completely abandon their fan base, embrace a heel character in everything, even though kids may cry and everything else, it shows that he's human. Shows that he's human. Shows a human element to him. Shows that as much as they would like to be Superman and everything else, they're human. And when he became Hollywood, deep down inside he earned my respect. Because he wasn't someone who did what the fans wanted, played up to the crowd and everything else. He was someone who said what he said, how he felt at the time. Although it was controversial and it started an uproar and he had his following, Hogan at the time, how can I put this? Hogan at the time, when he was Hollywood, started to work with talent. He was working with Goldberg, he was working with DDP, he was working with Luger. He was even working with the younger stars too. And Hogan, despite whatever they say of him being selective, he had to be selective. And why not? When you're a Hulk Hogan, you're not just gonna fight anybody. You're gonna make that match count when you fight him. That's what I say. You make it count. And why I'm saying that with Hogan is, you know what? I saw Hogan's very last match. It was on a TNA pay-per-view. He fought against Sting. It was tough to watch. Hogan tried to do all that he could, and you could see he was in pain. but he tried anyway. You know what? Somebody goes down like that. Some say it tarnished his legacy. He only did it for this reason or that reason. But I don't think so. When you go down wounded and you go down hurt and you go down maybe that you can't do it anymore. Shows your fans that you're not afraid to do what you love despite the pain. Now, I know wrestling is a tough sport and a lot has changed. Some people, many have gone through that pain before. And many has been tragic. But unfortunately, it's the nature of the sport. Many, and I think over the span of 20 years with wellness and everything else, it's improved. But I know that wrestlers still go through their pain. Sure, it might not be as obvious as before, but they go through their pain. And you know, people risk taking chances on one thing or the other. I know that. But I tell you, we all risk. We all risk in life. Whoever said life was easy and life was fair in the beginning, they were telling a lie. I remember my grammar school 8th grade teacher used to say, life is not fair. Basically stating, you think life is easy, but life don't go the way that we planned it. You're gonna have naysayers telling us we can't do something. You're gonna have people doing whatever. But the thing is, how bad is your passion for something? And I'm not talking about just any sports of wrestling. I'm talking about art. I'm talking about writing. I'm talking about anything that's a passion. Sometimes we come to face with a situation where we can't escape a situation where we're deadlocked.